Labas rytas, esu Aleksandras, komercijos atašė Japonijoje. Mes pradedam mūsų seminarą. Jis vesime į lietuviškai, bet prezentacija pono Suzuki bus angliškai. Mes turime 10 minučių klausimam ir atsakymam ir pranešėjų prašymą mes turim užbaigti būtent tą seminarą 18 valandą, tai galėsim paimti tik kelis klausimus ir prašau jūsų užduoti klausimus būtent susijusius su startuolių tematika. Reiškia, klausimus, kurie adresuoti ponui Suzuki, rašykite angliškai, o jeigu norit paklausti pono Geležiauską, galite rašyti lietuviškai. Ir aš perduodu žodį ambasadoriui. Ambasadoriui, prašom.
So good morning, Mr. Suzuki. Good afternoon, Mr. Suzuki. Good morning, everybody who are in Lithuania. So I apologize, I will be speaking in Lithuanian because the main audience today is Lithuanian. Tai labas rytas visiems Lietuvoje sėdintiems ir prisijungusiems. Labai iš tikrųjų džiugu, kad taip gausiai šiandien susirinkote. Ir man iš tikrųjų yra didžiulė garbė šiandien atidaryti turbūt pirmąjį mūsų ambasados istorijoje webinarą skirtą būtent Lietuvos startuoliams, supažindinantį su Japonijos startuolių ekosistema. Tai iš tikrųjų Lietuvos startuoliai mums yra didžiulis pasididžiavimas, kadangi laikome, jog tai yra viena iš Lietuvos stipriųjų pusių. Lietuva yra maža valstybė, turinti mažiau nei 3 milijonus gyventojų, bet turime labai stiprią, labai gausią startuolių ekosistemą, daugiau negu 1000 startuolių ir išaugintus 3 vienaragius. Tai yra mūsų pasididžiavimas. Šiandienos iš tikrųjų renginio, kaip ir pagrindinė mintis, pagrindinis tikslas yra supažindinti jūs su Japonijos atveju, supažindinti jūs su Japonijos rinka. Ir tikrai galiu pasakyti, kad tai nėra paprasta rinka. Šita rinka reikalauja daug kantrybės, jinai reikalauja daug atidumo ir laiko taip pat. Bet niekas negali paneigti, kad Japonijos rinka yra viena iš potencialiausių ir Lietuvai tai yra strateginė rinka. Tai turbūt nereikia kartotis, kad tai yra 4. pasaulio ekonomika, kad yra 125 milijonai gyventojų ir kad tai yra viena stabiliausių rinkų pasaulyje. Man labai džiugu, kad Japonija taip pat investuoja į savo startuolių ekosistemą ir yra skiriami didžiuliai pinigai tam. Labai džiugu, kad tomis galimybėmis gali pasinaudoti ne tik Japonijos startuoliai, bet taip pat ir pasaulio startuoliai, skaitant ir lietuvius. Tai labai noriu pasidžiaugti keletą puikių projektų, kurie jau įvyko ir vyksta šiuo metu. Tai būtent pono Hiroyuki Suzuki vadovaujamas pažangių telekomunikacijų tyrimų institutas turi tikrai puikų projektą. Beje, šita organizacija yra pasirašiusi partnerystės sutartį su inovacijų agentūra. Ir šito projekto rėmose yra dalyvavę jau keli startuoliai. Labai džiugu, kad vienas iš lietuviškų startuolių, Branch Daus, yra gavęs prestižinį apdovanojimą. Taip pat noriu paminėti, kad yra puikus bendradarbiavimas su JBIC-u, Japonijos tarptautinės kooperacijos banku, kuris yra paleidęs puikią programą, tai yra Nordic Ninja, ir jame yra taip pat dalyvavę Lietuvos startuoliai. Šitas projektas buvo labai sėkmingas ir dėl to JBIC-as yra paleidęs jau antrąjį variantą, tai yra Nordic Ninja 2. Tai iš tikrųjų, baigdama savo kalbą, norėčiau tikrai dar kartą visiems padėkoti, kad šiandien susirinkote. Noriu padėkoti šio renginio iniciatoriams ir organizatoriams, kolegai Aleksandrui, kolegai Andriui. Ir iš tikrųjų noriu palinkėti jums visiems gražaus ir prasmingo laiko kartu. Sėkmės. Ačiū labai.
Dėkoju ambasadoriui. Dear Mr. Suzuki, I invite you to start your presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, first of all, thank you very much for this great opportunity, Ambassador Chikas and Alexander of Lithuanian Embassy to Japan. So I'm Suzuki of ATL, now acting as a Senior Executive Vice President, Representative Director of ATL. So today I'd like to talk about a bit about the startup ecosystem in Japan, and also how Lithuanian startup can get involved in ecosystem in Japan. So let me start with how we can collaborate with Lithuania. Actually, I visited 3 times during the last 1.5 years, as shown here, and I was signed the 2 MOUs together with Innovation Agency Lithuania and Kaunas University of Technology, as shown here. And we have accepted the 3 Lithuanian startups to our acceleration program, which I will explain in a minute. And also, we welcomed the former Minister of Economy Innovation, Aromonaite San. I know she left the position effective yesterday. So we have already some relationships with Lithuania. So this is a top stage of startups in Japan based on Startup Blink. Of course, Tokyo shared the first, and then Osaka and Kyoto, where we are locating places, the second and third places. So if you compare it with startup cities in your country, Lithuania, Vilnius is located at 71st, and Kaunas is located at 189th in ranking. So you have a kind of a basic knowledge of what our top cities for startups is locating in this list of ranking. So Japanese government cabinet office appointed 4 global startup cities and 4 startup cities 5 years ago as a startup in startup city initiative, as shown here, to create a globally competitive startup ecosystem by best utilizing Japan's strengths in human resources, R&D capabilities, and corporate activities and financial resources. And we are actually belonging to Kansai ecosystem. It's one of the global startup cities. And the other global startup cities selected are, of course, Tokyo and central region, including Nagoya and Fukuoka. And there are startup cities composed of Sapporo and Sendai and Hiroshima and Kitakyushu. They are I would say, best places for startup to get involved. A bit about the outlines of 4 global startup cities. And as I said, Tokyo is, of course, the center of startup innovation and ecosystem. And they have too big and a lot of capability of startups. But mostly, they are good at a SaaS business. And maybe we are better than Tokyo in terms of deep tech startups and deep tech R&D outcomes, social implementations. For our central ecosystem composed of Aichi, Nagoya, and Hamamatsu, they are very good at manufacturing and also at medical infrastructure and healthcare, agriculture, and photonics. And the Kansai area, we are focusing on healthcare, manufacturing, information, and communication. And what is good for this our ecosystem is we will have Expo 2025 next year, which I will explain a bit later. And the last one is Fukuoka. They are very good at public-private collaboration and public procurement. And also, METI decided to promote startup by selecting a good startup as J startup or J startup local areas. Now, J startup are composed of totally 239 startups, and other local J startups are composed of number of startups as shown here. So for Kansai area, we have 75 startups, J startup selected. And now we have a kind of opening glass of innovation hub. For instance, in eastern part of Japan, Tokyo and Yokohama, there was opening of Tech Hub Yokohama in November, and also grand opening of Tokyo Innovation Base in May. And if you look at the central and the western part of Japan, just Nagoya opened the largest startup hub called Station AI. 2 months ago in October. And Osaka also opened Jam Base in Grand Green, Osaka. It's just next to the JR Osaka station in September. And Fukuoka will open a new startup hub called CIC Fukuoka in the spring of 2025. Of course, there are many other startup hubs in Tokyo and other places. So these innovation hubs can be also your target to work with. And there are many main innovation events. In Tokyo area, for instance, in May, you may know there is I believe it's one of the biggest startup events called Susitech Tokyo. And also in Tokyo, we have ILS Innovation, Leaders Innovation Leaders Summit, ILS, in December. And in Yokohama, there's a big event for Bio Japan called Bio Japan. And also in October, there will be a big event, especially for ICT area in Makuhari, next to Tokyo. And in western part of Japan, in July, IBS event will be held in Tokyo, and Haku Osaka will be annually held in November in Osaka. And in our places in Keano Science City, there is a Smart City Expo, and also Food Tech Expo. It will be held in October. So these are also your target events to participate in. So this is a fundraising trend in Japan. The total funding raised and the number of funding companies are increasing, but you seem that the number and the total funding raised decreasing last year, but it's the data as of January 23rd of this year. So you can expect additional investment and fundraising companies. So I think there is a not decrease in number and funding. They increasing trend both in numbers. So there are three futures in Japanese investment. The first one is investment is focusing on technology sectors such as AI, fintech, health tech, and biotechnology, especially in AI sectors. And also Japanese investors start investing not only Japanese startups, but also overseas startups, especially Asian and US market. And also there is now a big support from government in supporting program as well as funding. So you may be also able to be invested by Japanese investors if you are locating in appropriate sectors. So since we are belonging to Kansai Innovation Ecosystem, so from now on, I'd like focusing on this innovation ecosystem. And the Kansai Innovation Ecosystem is composed of 3 innovation ecosystems, composed of innovation ecosystems in Kyoto, Osaka, and Kobe. They have expertise. For instance, Kyoto, they are very good at academia. And also Osaka is a very good hub for location. Many people are coming to Osaka. And in Kobe, they have very good expertise in healthcare. But of course, there are Tokyo Innovation Ecosystem and global ecosystem. And our role is to connect this ecosystem by acting as a hub in function, in terms of function, such as social implementation, R&D, and global collaboration, and the POC together with the local residents, and matchmaking between startups and Japanese companies. So we take care of startup inbound and outbound. So this means we welcome startup overseas, including, of course, Lithuania. And we support Japanese startups and the startup coming outside Japan to connect with overseas countries, including Lithuania. So we are locating in Keihana Science City in the western part of Japan, more specifically in the middle of Osaka, Kyoto, Nara. And now we have over 150 R&D and R&D related organizations, as you can see in the picture in the right-hand side. Mostly the organizations are coming from R&D sector of private corporations, Japanese industries. So you may find a big name in Japanese industries. And there are three advantages to innovation in Keihana Science City. The first one is we are very strong at R&D, and we are very POC-friendly city. For instance, you may find a lot of houses near ATL. People living there are very cooperative to the POC together with the startups. And also we are globally open. So for R&D organizations, there are 6 core R&D institutions, including ATL, and other 5 all governmental research institutions. And we have totally 9 universities, and there are 11 major industry R&D centers shown in here. Most of them are born in Kyoto. And also we have a Keihana ATL fund, which allows us to invest companies utilizing our IPs, and we could manage to get total amount of somewhere around $43 million and have invested around $30 million for 15 companies which utilize our IP in sectors of robotics and drones and the neuroscience. And the 2 companies we have invested made a public corporation, and the fund has already successful in terms of the money. Okay, we got a very good refund from this fund. And we have a good association called Club Keihana, which allows the startups to get a subject of specific specifications. So if you need a subject of its age of between 50 to 60, and the number is 20 to 30, the Club Keihana can support the startup to collect subjects matching with their needs. And now we are working with global organizations, innovation organizations, including startups. And we started the construction of this global innovation collaboration network 7 years ago. And now we are working with over 1,100 organizations, including over 480 overseas organizations in 41 countries. So we do something innovative together, and to make our collaboration sustainable and official, we sign MOUs. And as I said, we have 2 Lithuanian organizations, Innovation Agency Lithuania and the Kaunas University of Technology as our core partners, with which we signed MOUs. And totally our core partners are composed of 28 organizations of 17 countries, composed of European organizations, North American organizations, Asian organizations, Middle East and African organizations, and of course, Japanese organizations. And more than 80% are coming from governments, and less than 20% are private organizations. And also, we are now focusing on starting with university incubators to implement deep tech research outcome in real world. So the Career Plus is our acceleration program, which support overseas startups to be connected with Japanese enterprises. So for Lithuanian startup, this acceleration program is, I would say, the best platform to get involved if you have interested in business in the Japanese market. The acceleration program is composed of 3 parts. The first one, the local challenge, it's a kind of a selection process of startups. And now the selection process is becoming very competitive. The latest batch 12, the acceptance ratio is as low as 8%. So many countries want to send startups to our program now. And after selection, we start main program, which normally lasts 3 months. And we first try to understand their business model, technology, and what they want to do Japanese market. And then we start connecting startup with Japanese enterprises. We do not have any consortium at all, so we try to find the potential best partners based on startup needs. After 3-month period of time, we select 5 startups and provide them with chances to expand their business outside Japan by working with our core partners. So we do this batch. We do 2 batches per year, summer and winter. And our goal is, as I said, not investment, but matching with Japanese companies. So our program, of course, is supported by various organizations, including public organizations such as embassies and the local governments and the industries and banks. So some of them act as mentors, and they have their own network, and that helps us quite a lot to connect startups participating in a program with Japanese enterprises. So this is the KPI of our program during the batch 1 to 11. We completed batch 11 1 month ago and started batch 12 this week. We totally accepted 173 startups from 19 countries. And we, on average, introduced 9 companies per startups. And the matching ratio is as high as 67%. So that's the reason why the startup satisfaction is very high, 4.3 out of 5. So these are the list of startups we have accepted so far. As I said, a total number is 173. And we accepted from Lithuania 2 startups up to now. Of course, we want to increase more, but we accepted 2 in recent batch 12. So now total number of Lithuanian startups we have accepted is 4. So these are the sectors of startup we have accepted so far. Actually, we do not mind sectors of startup at all. We accept startup in all sectors. But what we mind is startup need to have strong interest in Japanese market, of course. And because our goal is matching with Japanese enterprises, so the startup need to have POC compatible product and service. Okay, so the largest percentage shared with startup in healthcare and the medical sectors, but still just 18%. That is followed by startup in materials and smart devices sectors and so on. So these are the list of companies successfully matched with startup participating in the program. You may find a big name of Japanese industries, as well as startups are successfully matched with SMEs, especially in the western part of Japan. And because we accept startup in all sectors, sometimes we have startup and startup matching. That is good for us. As I said, we provide startup with outbound program by working with our core partners. In fact, during the past 2 or 3 years, we brought in total of over 20 startups to either in UK, London, Bavaria in Germany, and New York City in the US, and Barcelona in Spain, and Taiwan. So if you are interested in not only Japanese market, but also, for instance, Asian markets, our acceleration program is the best entry place. So we just started the batch 12, effective as of December 10th. And now we are carrying out the initial mentoring. And we completed initial mentoring of one Lithuanian startup yesterday. Okay, and what is unique for this batch is we secured one day at the venue of World Expo, Osaka, Kansai, that will be held next year. So the startup selected can have a very good chance to expose their product and service worldwide in just one day. That is, I think, a very good occasion for startups. So now, of course, we are a research institute. We have a technological perspective, but what we were lacking is a marketing perspective. Now our ecosystem is attracting players having marketing perspective, such as consultant enterprises and investors and distributors and local governments, so on. So we can now connect these two perspectives and our ecosystem start working quite well. And as I said, we'll have an expo next year, but actually we will do our own expo at the same timeline. I mean, between April to October. Okay, so the first one expo is, of course, World Expo, Osaka, Kansai, 2025. And one of our director has his own pavilion, and our scientists try to realize that 100 robots and avatars are working at the same time, so that people with some handicap and elderly people can remotely participating in expo. That's what our scientists try to do. And also, I'm acting as a curator of industry exhibit at the Kyoto booth, so that you can see the history and the locality of Kyoto industry, but as well as history and innovation and the locality and the international. This mixture you can feel if you visit the Kyoto booth. And Keihan Expo, we do not have any pavilion at all, but we try to act as a function hub. So we are now planning startup events and the robot avatar and ICT event as organizer of these two events. And what is also good, even better, is our Keihan Science City was, I would say, elected as a post-expo city. It's not an event for 6 months. It's a national governmental project. So that will last at least a couple of years, even longer. So we are requested to create an effective way of social implementation of legacies of two expos, such as innovation technology. So as a research institute, we are focusing on creating an effective way of social implementation of deep tech innovation technology into society. So this is a very outline of Keihan Expo 2025. We try to contribute to future society by providing solutions for the next generation. So there are 4 activities in the expo. And as I said, I'm acting as a head of Startup Festival. Okay. So what we are now doing is this Keihan Expo Global Startup POC Challenges, and to showcase our capability as startup POC-friendly city, and also promote Keihan Science City as a post-expo city. So we made a call, and there was 19 entries from 8 countries, Japan 10, overseas 9. And entry startup coming from overseas countries are all alumni of our Keihan Plus program. So we did multiple selection processes, and now we selected 4 projects, which matched quite well with the vision of post-expo city. The startup coming from, of course, Japan, but also from Taiwan and Canada. So now we are in a phase 2 and preparing appropriate POC. as a, as a post-expository. And we will start POC soon. And we will have a three opportunity to showcase our project at the venue of World Expo, as well as Keihan Expo. So that is also, these are also a very good chance for startups participating in a challenge to showcase their product and service. And also, as a post-expo city, what now we are creating is this global deep tech innovation network composed of three global networks. The first one is global R&D network. And then the second one is global university incubator network. And the last one is global accelerator network. We have already proven and solid network in R&D network. So now we are constructing global incubator network as well as global accelerator network. We hope this will act as a one-stop and effective framework to implement deep tech research outcome, as well as deep tech solutions of a startup in real world. Okay, so I'd like to finish my presentation by sharing the uniqueness of Kyoto ecosystem with you. You may know that Kyoto is a former capital of Japan for more than 1,000 years. So first uniqueness of Kyoto is there are many big companies in Kyoto, born in Kyoto, but they do not move to Tokyo. They are staying in Kyoto and becoming a very big company. And the second uniqueness is longevity of the companies. So there are 5 companies over 1,000 years old and 13 companies over 500 years old. So we have already a kind of ecosystem, and the decacorn and the unicorn already with respect to the longevity ecosystem. So there are these are the 2 uniqueness in the ecosystem. And if you are interested in working with us, please let us know. Okay, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Suzuki, for your presentation.
Yes.
Thank you. We will now switch to Lithuanian for a presentation of Mr. Giližauskas, and then we'll come back for a Q&A session. Andriau, aš tada kviečiu jūs pradėti. Truputį garsiau, jeigu galime.
Taip, tai dabar viskas matosi.
Ir girdisi.
Ir girdisi. Tai sveiki visi, labas rytas, malonu iš tikrųjų matyti susirinkusius turbūt gausiai. Tai šiandien aš norėčiau trumpai pristatyti Japonijos verslo kultūros ypatumų. Palaukit minutėlę. Tuoj. Čia dabar šiek tiek minutėlę. Taip. Taip. Dabar turėtų matytis viskas. Taip. Tai gerai, tai dabar taip. Tai norėčiau dar kartą sugrįžti prie Japonijos verslo kultūriniai praktiniai tyrimai. Mano pačio pagrindas yra tas, jog aš esu dirbęs su Japonijos viena didžiausių įmonių Hitachi 5 metus Lietuvoje kaip verslo plėtros vadovas. Dirbom Lietuvos, Latvijos ir Estijos rinkose. Vėliau teko darbuotis jau Japonijoje su keliais Lietuvos startuoliais, kaip antai Diperis išmanus sonaras, Monimoto ir taip pat kitomis įmonėmis. Tai tokios ir praktinės patirties iš darbo su Japonijos rinka. Pats Japonijos temoje apie 20 metų darbuojusi, tai tiesiog yra matyta barigados iš abiejų pusių, tiek iš Lietuvos, tiek iš Japonijos. Tai aš pradėdamas ir tą kalbą apie kultūrinius aspektus, galbūt galima sakyti taip, kad rašomos knygos apie tai. Vis tiek Japonija yra tikrai skirtinga šalis lyginant su Europą, su Amerika. Ir be jokios abejonės ta verslo kultūra jinai irgi yra skirtinga. Tačiau, kadangi turime ribotą laiką, tai pabandysime prabėgti ir tiesiog sudėti tokius keletą kertinių momentų, ką aš esu pastebėjęs iš savo, daugmetinių, kaip sakant, darbo. Tai pirmas dalykas, ką minėjo ir ambasadorius, tai dirbant su Japonijos rinka tikrai vienas iš svarbiausių yra dalykų ant akmens sėdėti 3 metus. Tai yra senovės išmintis. Ir aš būtent kalbėdamas apie verslo kultūros ypatumus norėčiau atkreipdėmėsi į senovės išmintį, nes jinai neveltui naudojama. Taigi, ką reiškia ant akmens sėdėti 3 metus? Bet kuriuo atveju, jeigu jūs norite dirbti Japonijos rinkoje, turite turėti kantrybę. Ir tai tikrai nėra tušti žodžiai, kad visos turbūt rinkos sako, turėkit kantrybę, būkite, sakykim taip, kurkit tuos ilgalaikius santykius, bet Japonijos situacija yra tikrai ypatinga ir čia sakoma, jeigu dalyvauji parodose, dalyvauk bent 3 metus iš eilės. Jeigu pradėjai dirbti įmoniai, bent 3 metus dirbti. Jeigu kažkokios tai veiklos ėmėsi, bent 3 metus. Tai yra tikrai ta šalis, kur sprendimai nevyksta labai greitai ir jiems reikia laiko. Aišku, šiame kontekste reikia suprasti, jog yra nemaža dalis įmonių, kurios yra tiesiog didelės, pačios iš savęs. Aš kaip pavyzdį galiu pateikti Hitachi korporaciją. Kuomet mes lankydomės Lietuvoje ir, tarkim, kalbėdavomės su energetikos ministerija ar kitose ministerijose, vis sakydavo, va, štai atvažiavo viceprezidentas, tai dabar jau galima kažkokį tai sprendimą priimti. Tačiau reikia suprasti, kad toj pačioj Hitachi įmoniai turėjom 11 viceprezidentų. Tai tikrai ne kiekvienas gali kalbėti už sektorių, už kurį jis nėra atsakingas. Dėl šios priežasties tiesiog sprendimai, jie yra, jiems priimti tikrai užtrunka laiko. Taip pat, tai čia atsakyčiau tokia viena iš patarlių ant akmens sėdėti 3 metus. Strateginė kantrybė yra reikalinga dirbant su Japonijos rinka. Antras, mano manimu, labai svarbus momentas, tai Japonijoje yra nuo senovės naudojamas patarlė išlindusi vinį sukalti į sieną. Ką tai reiškia? Galima labai įvairiai interpretuoti, bet mano manimu vienas iš svarbiausių dalykų tai yra tam tikra prasme neišsišokti ir nešokiruoti. Tai kalbant apie verslo kultūrą, aš kaip dabar pamenu, kada atvažiavo Zuckerbergas į Japoniją ir susitiko su ministru pirmininku, kuris atėjo apsirengęs džinsais ir marškinėliais, tai visa medija tiesiog skambėjo, kaip čia taip gali būti, atėjo į susitikimą apsirengęs, kaip turbūt įprasta Amerikoje. Tai šiuo atveju aš visuomet siūlyčiau atkreipti dėmesį bendraujant su Japonijos įmonėmis. Koks yra apsirengimo kodas, ar tai yra oficialus, ar tai yra mažiau oficialus, nes mums Europoje tas individualumas jis labai yra įprastas. Tuo tarpu Japonijoje tai yra tikrai truputį vertinama kitaip. Apsirengimo kodas, tada visa tai, kaip tu atrodai, sakykim taip, jeigu ateisite su tatuiruotėm, sakykim taip, kažkur tai labai aiškiai matomose vietose, tai pliuso tikrai nepridės. Jeigu ypač kalbam apie struktūrinius investuotojus ar bankus ar kitas įmonės. Tai mano manimu, tikrai mums reikėtų tai turėti omenyje, bendraujant su Japonija, jog įsišokimas, tas individualizmas, koks suprantamas Europoje, jisai Japonijoje reikia truputį prislopinti. Trečias dalykas. Mano manimu, tai yra visuomet galimybės krizės, yra galimybių metas ir visokie pasikeitimai yra galimybių metas. Aš galiu tiesiog kaip vieną iš pavyzdžių nurodyti. Tarkim, šiandien yra gruodžio 12 diena, šiandien po beveik 70 metų pertraukos yra įstatymų pakeitimas susijęs su kanabinoidų sektoriumi. Kitaip tariant, kanapių produktų naudojimu Japonijoje. Būtent nuo šios dienos įsigalioja naujas reglamentavimas. Ir iš mano patirties ir darbo su Lietuvos įmonėmis šiuo atveju irgi tam tikrais startuoliais, tai mums tai yra kaip tik galimybių metas. Mums yra pati geriausia diena, nes mes turim produktą būtent, kuris atitiks reglamentavimą nuo gruodžio 13 dienos. Ir šiuo atveju yra tikrai ir pasitaiko įmonių iš Lietuvos, kurios pataiko puikiai į kažkokią tai ar krizę, ar kažkokį tai pasikeitimą, kuris, atveria duris ten, kur galbūt prisibelsti būtų kur kas, sakykim taip, sunkiau. Tai šiuo atveju irgi, jeigu yra kažkokios tai naujos technologijos atsiradusios, tai visuomet aš tai vertinu kaip puikiausias galimybės. Tarkim, AI atsiranda, vadinasi, atsiranda vėlgi galimybė užeiti į Japonijos rinką, kadangi čia prisibelsti prie tų didžiųjų įmonių taip paprastais, šaltais skambučiais, nėra pats lengviausias kelias. Toliau, ichigo čia. Čia yra toks konceptas, kuris galbūt sunkiai verčiasi, bet jisai iš principo reikštų, kad reikia vertinti kiekvieną sustikimą, kadangi ir kiekvieną santykį, ir kiekvieną ryšį, kadangi jis gali tapti ryšiu visam gyvenimui. Tai jeigu jūs turėjot kažkokį tai santykį su Japonu, tai tas santykis jisai gali būti, galbūt ne šiandien, galbūt po 5 metų ar kažkada tai, bet jis gali būti labai, labai svarbus. Tai aš savo ruoštų irgi norėčiau paskatinti, sakykim taip, kai kada neatmesti labai keistų Japonų, nes jų tikrai visokių būna ir visokių iš komunikacijos visokių būna, bet bandyti tą kiekvieną santykį, kiekvieną ryšį, kiekvieną kažkokį tai užmegztą kontaktą jį išlaikyti, kadangi jis gali tapti lemtingas kažkuriam etape. Dar vienas iš dalykų, tiesiog jau kalbant šiek tiek apie rinką, tai aš siūlyčiau gal nebijoti nišinių produktų ir pačių keiščiausių idėjų. Ką aš turiu omenyje? Aišku, kada mes kalbame apie startupus, tai visuomet vienas iš kertinių dalykų yra, koks yra rinkos dydis, koks yra globalus potencialas, koks yra augimo, žodžiu, potencialas. Tai visuomet investuotojai jie ieško tų startuolių, kurie gali dirbti globaliose rinkose su globaliais produktais. Bet kalbant apie Japoniją, ką minėjo ir ambasadoris, tai vis tiek yra rinka, kuri turi 125 milijonus, tai yra vis tiek didelė rinka ir joje savo rinką ir savo dalį gali rasti netgi patys keiščiausi produktai. Aš čia tik tai keletą pristatau. Tarkim, kairiai pusėje yra arbata, žalia, bet kažkodėl yra halal prekės ženklinimas. Ir atrodo, o tai kas gali būti bendro tarp Japonijos ir musulmonų? Atrodo nieko bendro. Tačiau jeigu mes pasižiūrėsime statistiką, tai mes šiai dienai turime bent jau maisto produktų segmente virš milijardo eurų rinką Japonijai. Virš milijardo eurų. Kiekvienais metais atvažiuoja keli šimtai tūkstančių turistų iš Indonezijos, Malazijos, kuriems yra reikalingas toks sertifikatas. Ir aš matau irgi, kai kada Lietuvos įmonės, kurios dirba, tarkim, ar Jungtiniuose Arabų Emyratuose, ar Saudo Arabijoje, kur yra tas paženklinimas yra reikalingas, tai kyla mintis, kodėl kitą kartą nepasinaudoti jau tam tikrų ženklinimų toj pačioj Japonijai, kur galbūt tie didieji importuotojai, didieji gamintojai, jiems tai yra kaip ir maža rinka, galbūt yra neįdomu, tačiau potencialiai ten tikrai gali atrasti savo nišą. Kitas produktas. Čia yra pavaizduotas vadinamos iš Lietuvos beje, tai yra sraigės, šaldytos sraigės. Atrodytų, ir tai yra bent jau iki tam tikrų metų buvo labiausiai eksportuojamas žemės ūkio produktas į Japoniją iš Lietuvos. Atrodytų, kas gali būti bendro tarp Lietuvos, sraigių ir Japonijos? Ar japonai valgo sraigės? Toks klausimas yra. Ar lietuviai valgo? Irgi toks klausimas yra. Tačiau yra Lietuvos viena įmonė, kuri tiesiog sėkmingai pardavinėja, tiekia, tiksliau pasakius, šaldytas sraiges prekybos tinklui, restoranų tinklui Saizerija. Tiekia ir yra vieni didžiausių Lietuvos žemės ūkio produktų eksportuotojų į Japoniją. Kadangi Saizerija tai yra tinklas turintis apie 1000 restoranų. Tai galima paskaičiuoti kiekvieną dieną po 10 porcijų kiekvienam restorane, padauginame iš 365 dienų ir gauname labai įdomų skaičių. Na ir kitas dalykas, dar yra, čia pavaizduotos malkos yra. Keliaudamas po Japoniją, lankausi tam tikruose irgi regionuose ir žiūriu, Pardavinėja malkas. Pardavinėja malkas po eurą už malką. Na, galvoju, jeigu jūs sugebate parduoti rinkoje už malką, mokėdami, tiksliau, pirkėjas mokėdamas po eurą, tai manęs nestebina, kad atsiranda Lietuvos įmonės, kurios sugeba tas pačias malkas eksportuoti į ten Naująją Zelandiją ar Australiją. Tai tiesiog noriu paskatinti ir padrasinti, jog jeigu turite kažkokį tai galbūt ir netgi nišinį produktą ar kažkokį tai labai keistą, tai Japonija jums galėtų būti viena iš tų rinkų. Tai ačiū labai ir jeigu bus klausimų, mielai atsakysiu, nes apie kultūrą galima kalbėti labai daug.
Taip, ačiū Andriui. Uh, dear Mrs. Suzuki, dear Andrews, so we'll switch to Q&A session, and I see first two questions in Lithuanian, so it means that they go to Andrews, and I will read them in Lithuanian. Tai pirmas klausimas skamba taip. 3 metai vien apsišylimui. Tai ką ten veiks startuoliam, Andriu?
Tai reikia tiesiog turbūt surasti, sakykim taip, hubus arba, kaip vat, ir ponas Suzuki minėjo, investicinius arba sakykim taip, surasti hubus, kurie gali greitai privesti prie jums reikalingų įmonių. Nes turbūt paprastai prisibelisti prie didžiųjų įmonių tai tikrai nėra toks paprastas kelias, tai tiesiog siūlau naudotis aplinkiniais keliais. Naudojantis aplinkiniais keliais užtruks trumpiau nei 3 metai, bet šiaip tikėtis, kad ten per 3 mėnesius ar per pusę metų kažkas tai įvyks, tai labai, labai stipriai abejočiau. Aplinkiniais keliais bandykite naudotis, taip.
Ačiū labai. Dar vienas klausimas. Iš pristatymo kol kas aišku, kad Japonija turi aiškiai ir vieną krypties sritį. AI, dirbtinis intelektas, fintechas, biotechnology, gyvybės mokslai. O kaip dėl pramonės ir gamybos srities? Jeigu maža gamybinė įmonė, užimanti mažą procentą Lietuvos pramonės sektorių, kokios realios galimybės šią įmonę patekti į Japonijos rinką ir užimti gamybos pramonės sritį, žinot šitą orientavimą?
Maybe Suzuki-san also can answer to this question, because this is a question not only to my side, but also maybe you can comment on it.
Yeah, I would like to repeat it. The question is, we understand that Japan has a target to develop AI, fintech, and biotechnologies. And what are the chances for a small production company to enter Japanese market?
So,
What do you think?
okay, if there is a unique point or strength, even though the company is small, you may have a chance to work with Japanese companies or distributors to sell your product in the Japanese market. So what is important is not the size of the company, but whether you have strengths, a uniqueness, and enough to compete with other companies. That's the most important thing.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any more questions. Okay, yeah, and one more. What is the most popular startups from agriculture in Japan?
Oh, I honestly, I don't know. But food tech, agri-tech is now a very active area in Japan, also worldwide. And there are government initiative to promote the startup in agri-tech and food tech. And also In our area in Kenosai City, Kyoto Prefecture is creating a base, a very big base for food tech industries and agri-tech industries. And I'm one of the committee members to the base. And we encourage the Kyoto Prefecture to open the place for open innovation. So that means there are opportunity for startups, domestic and overseas, to participate in the initiative in Kenosai City. But it will take another couple of years to open the base. Okay, so there are, I would say, big chances of agri-tech and food tech startup in Lithuania to get involved in the Japanese market. But again, what is important is how you can compete with other companies, including, of course, Japanese startups and Japanese companies. That's important.
May I ask also add some comments on it? Because when I was working for Hitachi, we had some in-house company which was working also in agriculture sector, and basically we were investing in satellite technologies to measure crop size and measure how these crops are growing. So I think one of the sectors in agriculture sector would be utilizing this kind of satellite imaging technologies and software development products for agriculture needs. Another thing I think is AI, not AI, but self-driven or autonomous solutions for agricultural devices like tractors or machines. Myself and my company, we have supplied, for example, some devices from Turtinga to Komatsu. Okay, Komatsu is not from agriculture, but they are from construction industry. But basically, we have also supplied some devices to agriculture company which is developing autonomous tractors. So I think this is also one of kind of fields which is very, very well promising. And in general, Japan has just about 36 or 57% of self-sufficiency ratio in food industry. So food industry is like a very, very important thing in Japan because of aging society, very low self-sufficiency ratio. So technologies and utilization of technologies like image selection, so things like that are very, I think, promising for Japanese market also.
Yes, it reflects very big social issues of depopulation. Yeah, we have a very shortage of successor in agriculture area. So the AI and the robotics being used for agriculture sectors.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next question is it's regarding the language. Is it possible to enter Japanese market without Japanese language?
Without,
I mean,
okay.
is it okay to use English, or you should find a person or company which communicates Japanese?
Yeah, of course, it's better to find Japanese in the Japanese market because we have still issues of language. And but recently, translation software from Japanese to English or English to Japanese are cheaply used. So it can also, you can work also in English. But again, if you find a good Japanese person in the Japanese market, that's much better. Yes.
Andrews, any remarks, or
Yes, but I would
should we go
really,
to the next?
I think just a couple of things to say. I think it would be really very good to come to Japan and see by your own eyes, because Japan is really different from Europe and from United States, and the service level and how people behave, how we respect each other. it's something very, very different. So for us, for Europeans, there are many things to learn, and the issue is not only about language. Language is like a gate to culture. So knowing Japanese language is like knowing and the gateway to Japan, and it's like a gateway to the soul of Japan. While just using English, it's okay, as Mr. Suzuki has said, software of translation software is incredible. So for emails, for some, I don't know, calls, it's okay. But in general, at least please come, spend a couple of weeks, see by your own eyes, and then yeah, would be much better.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And we have a second question. What are conditions to open a company in Japan for Lithuanian citizen? I would like to ask to write me an email with this question. So I will skip it because we have a special information on that at the embassy. Also, are there possibilities of Japanese companies moving to Lithuania in IT game development sector? Uh, mm, I I just don't understand fully the question, actually.
It seems that the question is whether Japanese IT companies could come to Lithuania and
As an investor, yeah, I don't know. It's possibly
investor
yes.
or developer maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Possibly yes.
Developer.
And what I would like to say here, that we had a visit recently. We had a visit of a Lithuanian Game Developers Association, the chairman, and we organized the meetings with local associations, and MOU were signed about cooperation between Lithuanian and Japanese game dev associations. So we'll have some activities next year, and we will do that together with Lithuanian Game Dev Association. I think the last question is because of time. So we have the question is, how could pro beer, a non-alcoholic functional beer designed for athletes and health-conscious individuals, establish itself effectively in the Japanese market? Andrews, maybe some Mr. Suzuki, some thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, but I know the guy who
You
sent
know.
the questions. Yeah, yeah.
The easiest way would be if Otani, baseball player, would take a cup of that beer and just post it on Instagram.
That's a good idea.
How can we do that?
Uh, that's a question, but we have to I think more even we have not so famous, but we have also some other um, Lithuanians which are working as a head coach, for example, bit for basketball team in
Yeah,
Japan and
yeah.
famous. So I think there are many ways. Just we have to be creative in many things because when we are talking about marketing budgets, Japan is a huge country and Lithuanian size a budget for marketing, it's very different. I used to work and I'm still working with a company named Deeper, and the money we spend for marketing in Japan and the money we spend in Lithuania, it's not comparable at all. You're talking about, hundreds of the difference, and I don't believe that startups have such a money, especially in a pre-seed or some very early stage. So in that case, we have to be creative, make a proof of concept, and then just try to raise a bit bigger funds for another marketing tools.
Okay, so here I would like to thank Mr. Suzuki and Mr. Gležauskas. And we're closing. Thank you very much. We are
Thank you.
closing, Vaivod.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.